Quite a cool song, isn't it?
It is. Oli, do you want to move the thing here because we don't have guests?
Sure. Is the song about brassicas?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Well, I think it's about
Party of
love. It's very, I would say, I don't know, would you characterize the style?
Indie.
Indie? Definitely indie. It's very easy listening. It's almost like slightly loungy sound. For those who are listening for us on Facebook, just remember that we also have YouTube, Twitter broadcast as well. And on Facebook, we have this behind the scenes things. So sometimes you can hear something that people on air can't hear, which is always very cool. Isn't it interesting that the person created this kind of loungy sounding song and thinking, hey, how am I going to call it? How about brassicas?
Yeah, funny, eh?
They might have liked the cabbage, right?
Yeah.
It's just the
New Hampshire.
air can't get on the mic. It's
Oh, yeah.
making the sound a little weird.
Oh, good. I can't be free. It's about freedom. Sometimes eating what you love is about freedom. It is Alina Williams and Warwick Foy at the studio of Taranaki Foodies with Area 41 on the Most FM. We just listened to the song called Brassicas by Party of the Sun. And it was quite a loungy indie sound as Warwick characterized it. Yeah, it's quite interesting how people think of something quiet and calm, and how are we going to call it? How about brassicas? So, okay, so who knows what brassicas?
Let's reveal a little more about that band.
Okay, let's talk about the band brassicas.
I'd not heard of it, so that was a great pick by you. They are from New Hampshire. They're a duo. They create tapestries of sound, as you heard. What are the words there? Familiar tableaus, moonlit rainfall, Americana, an understated acoustic guitar, and a pair of voices sweep away the bedlam like a long exhale.
I absolutely love the description. I think that they weave a lot of sounds into the like a pattern, and the pattern is beautiful. So yeah, I have a question to the people in the studio. People in the studio today are Nathan Griffith and Oli Foy, our videographers today. So who can name the most brassicas vegetables? Who's going to receive this opportunity to boast that they're most knowledgeable?
Have you got a prize?
I don't have a prize. What do you think we should?
A Brussels sprout.
Brussels
I don't
sprout.
even know what a brassica is.
Brassica is a vegetable from the family of cabbages. So those well, it's actually not a family. Family is called crustaceans. Their flower is like a cross, but there is many different vegetables in it. So I already said cabbage. So Warwick, what would you say?
You mean a cruciferous vegetable?
Yeah, cruciferous.
Yeah.
This is my accent on the way.
Yeah.
You know, when I make mistake and people correct me, they're more likely to remember it. So thank you for doing this.
So we'll give these young men some clues. There's the most well-known one. I think you said this is cabbage already.
Yes.
The most well-known one, apart from cabbage, also begins with C, and there's another really well-known one that you like, which begins with B.
Okay,
so I know one of them is a radish, but you told me that earlier.
I'm not sure whether
it's still valid.
I'm not sure whether radish is part of that, but I think the Japanese radish is part of it, definitely, and also some Well, let's do it with you, Warwick. Yeah.
Oh, you want me to read them?
Think about it. Don't look at the screen.
Oh, I've already read. I'm just well, obviously broccoli and collie are the ones that everyone knows, and cabbage.
Yes.
Choy sum, which is a Chinese vegetable, is in the family.
Chinese cabbage. Yes.
I didn't know that Swede was also called rutabaga.
I think it's one of the ethnic name of it. And interesting thing about brassicas, they are so diverse, and they were all over the world. And I mean, in different regions, they develop their own varieties. And even if, for example, it's the same cabbage, it can look quite different as well.
I thought Brussels sprouts were in there, but they're not listed here. But
the Brussels sprout definitely part of it.
oh yes, there it is.
Yeah.
But so this is the reason that people don't like Brussels sprouts. So it contains, I've lost my place. It contains a chemical in it that some people taste as very bitter, and that's why people either love or hate Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, please leave a note. Do you love or do you hate Brussels sprouts or any other brassicas? And we'll reveal 3 other reasons why people don't like members of the brassicas. And now let's listen to the next song.
I'm not going to try and pronounce that chemical, but the shortened name of it is PTC. So if you're interested, listeners, you can find out about that later. The second song is from the Mustard family, which is called Mustard, and it's by Tippy Belady. And do you want to talk about her now or later?
Yeah, I can tell about her now. Tippy Belady is my new favorite, and it has been glorifyingly talked as creating new anthem for the young people. And her music is really moody, and Mustard is actually, the song is about separation and about how she feels about separation. Let's listen. I absolutely love it.
Oh yes, I like that too.
This is quite nice start. I mean, you can say a lot about the song from the start.
I agree.
Yeah. And also, I've noticed that each generation have their favorite, like a rhythm. So I don't know what it tells about me, but this really appeals to me. I can listen to music like that for a long time.
So where did you say she's from?
I think
America.
from Dallas,
Oh, yeah,
Texas. Your words were insincere.
You just have to have your way. You don't care if I'm hurt. That's what I get.
When I was her age, she's from high school. I was so moody and grumpy all the time. I don't know how my parents survived this period.
Just another breath to help you come.
But I believe that music or any art is a great outlet for your emotions when you are.
You have to change. There's nothing left for you to do. I'm just not interested in you.
She says that I'm not just interested in you. Wow, he made her so mad. So she says that she's not interested in him. Wow.
You like to be on trend. With your some long hairs, your hair in Dutch braids. It would judge me when never end. I flew out of
Find out
place
where she's
when
from.
you stuck his face. You had your head down to the T. With my naivety, you really fooled me.
Alice, yeah.
But you come into your character, I'm most surprised. Your friends, they're insecure. Think you leave them cause you want more. But you're the one who's weak. Need the compliments cause you can't handle the deep. You don't care if I'm hurt. That's what I get from messing with the joke. Perfection was a second protection for me. I'm not just another breath to help you come to the top of personality was all disguised. The mask you wear is charming, but it's woven with love.
on You, She Said. I'm not just interested in you, she said, and obviously she is because he gave her so much grief. I don't like pop music usually, but this song just took my heart. Do you like to talk about this song, Warwick?
I couldn't find much about her. She's young. She's from Dallas. Yeah,
She's at high school, and we live in such an amazing time that just being a student without a producer or a post-production team or something like that, you can create music, add special effects, use different instruments online from just your home computer. And this is absolutely amazing, and I love it.
Great.
Okay, let's return to our brassicas. So a few interesting facts about some brassicas for you. Okay, I'll let Warwick to read.
Oh,
he has
sure.
a better voice for me, and he doesn't have an accent. How about it?
Oh, I think I do have an accent. A New
Kiwi
Zealand
one.
accent. Yeah. Let's have a look at what you've researched here. So the brassica vegetables, who can name the most? Well, none of us did very well at that. So J.W. Fahey in Encyclopedia of Food and Health 2016, the largest cabbages in the world have been grown near Fairbanks, Alaska in the US. Brassicas contain high levels of vitamin C, A, E, and K, as well as folate, calcium, iron, potassium, and phosphorus.
Wow, that's it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing because it's one of the foods that have been staple in many cultures, and in Russian culture they eat lots of brassicas. I mean, everyone knows borscht, which is basically cabbage soup. A lot of people know stuffed cabbage leaves, and basically every main meal, even starter, except probably dessert, can contain some sort of brassicas, and cabbage being the main. And all my life I suffered because actually I don't like cabbage. I don't like brassicas, to be honest. Warwick, do you like brassicas?
Love them. Yep, I'm a big fan of Brussels sprouts. I'm actually going to go out on a limb, and I'm just reading about this, and say that some of these have been bred or cultivated by humans. So the cauliflower is one of those, I think. It didn't exist naturally. Also, Brussels sprouts, I think they were cultivated, weren't they?
I'm not sure, but I like the name. Brussels sprouts suggests that they're from Brussels, but they're not, aren't they? Nathan, do you know where Brussels sprouts
It
come
says
from?
they were possibly grown in what is now Belgium.
Okay, Nathan, where it is from?
Oh, I did a Wikipedia search one time, and I did find out this fact, and I don't remember what the answer is.
They are a cultivar. Yeah, they are.
I think they came from ancient Rome culture because, again, people then eat it in ancient Rome. People eat twice a day. So after they woke up, they had something to eat. They spent the whole day doing whatever, and then they returned home and had another intake. So anyone who would take 3 meals a day would consider it probably like a crazy. No one does that. No one did this in ancient Rome, so quite interesting.
Do you know that there are 4 classifications of cauliflower?
Okay.
Italian, Northern European, Northwestern European, and Asian.
Oh no, I didn't know about Asian cauliflower. I thought it's very European.
It's a tropical cauliflower used in China and India. It was developed in India during the 19th century from the now abandoned Cornish type, and includes some old varieties which have unusual names called early Benares and early Patna.
Wow, that's amazing. And people
Amazing.
cultivated something that is useful. So brassicas is a really good crop for preparing the field for the next crop, or and because it's annual and sometimes biennial, but they still like to be changed every year.
Have you seen these ones? We're looking on the screen. So you can cultivate using other vegetables. For example, the red cabbage can produce a purple cauliflower, and the green Romanesca cauliflower, that's the one that looks like a bunch of aliens. Have you seen that one before?
Yes, I actually cooked it. If you slightly cut them off and put them on a plate, it will create like a pyramid.
By aliens, do you mean it looks like a geometric
Yeah.
wonderland?
It does. Like you're expecting a sort of an alien to part it and step
Right.
out and say, hello, I'm from outer space, or something like that.
All right. Another member of the brassicas family is actually mustard and rapeseed. And if you ever been in Europe, especially in Ukraine, there used to be huge, beautiful,
Amazing.
bright yellow fields of rapeseed oil. I don't know why rapeseed wasn't popular name. They called it canola, which is slightly different variety, but it's the same plant. So I would like to listen to another song, which is called Rapeseed.
If you're driving through Europe and you or on a train and you are at the right angle, it can actually wash together, so it just looks like pure yellow. It's amazing.
So Rapeseed, and it's by beautiful Japanese singer Hiromi Sugai. This is also quite indie, but it's a little bit like country indie type of thing.
Cool. This is
I like the tone of her voice. It's just slightly, it's very tactile, I would say. You almost feel like it's a bit of a, I don't know, scratchiness in it.
so the rape, unfortunate word rape derives from the Latin word for turnip.
Yeah. In Russia or Ukraine, we call it raps.
That's probably the first time that's happened.
Yeah. I think the angle of it, maybe you need to raise it up.
Oh, I see. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rapeseed is actually one of my favorite things to cook with. It is quite interesting.
You mean the oil?
Yeah, rapeseed oil. It doesn't give a burning smell because maybe it's the burning point is much higher. The only bad thing about it, it's just green.
Yeah.
So if you use it in cooking or even making an omelette, it has a little bit of a greeniness in it, and some people don't like it. But I mean, it's all perception.
I never use oil for omelets. I always use butter.
Mm.
Even though it's
Well, I like using oil, so my son likes the butter. I always do it with oil.
No, that's what it actually looks like.
Yes, so it's like a bean pod, and it's an even shape, and then it's pressed. So I believe the bad reputation it's got was about how they actually make this oil, because sometimes they heat it and use chemicals to extract it. But if you kind of do it a cold press, because it's full of oil, but probably doesn't just extract the whole amount of it. And oil based is acidic. So I think this is also important for the balance of in our body.
Erucic acid. Bad for you.
Is it bad for us?
Bad for your cardiac muscle, your heart.
Oh, I should start doing butter instead of oil.
Oh, but it's there's regulation about how much is allowed to be in there in the oil.
You see, it's also used for biodiesel because it's very easy to grow crop. When rapeseed grows, nothing else grows because it kind of suppresses it. You can pull it down just. Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We are Alina Williams and Warwick Foy, local foodies and broadcasters. And today we are talking about brassicas in our studio. So we just listened to the song called Rapeseed, and it is by a very interesting artist from Japan. Her name is Hiromi Sugai. And I would like to share with you, I've been to the degustation last Thursday, and it was at the Lepeton Cafe, and it was amazing. It was a fusion of Japanese and Kiwi cuisine, and it was so delicious. It's not something that you expect from a little provincial cafe, but the level of it was definitely like an international cooking. So congratulations to Alex Dickey. It was an amazing event, and I'm going to visit much more, and I hope Warwick will join me by then.
Definitely. They're new owners, aren't they?
Relatively new. They opened probably several months ago. Yeah, and I don't think it was a cafe there before. It was just a store, and next to it was maybe a coffee shop. But they do dinners now, and yeah, he's amazing. So he's Kiwi, his wife is Japanese, but he has been a tutor at WIT.
Yeah.
He came to our show once. Yeah.
He came to our show with Angela, didn't he?
Yes, and I think he came also with Mark, because Mark Dickey and Alex Dickey, actually, they're not related, but there were so much similarities with them. It was quite funny.
I think they get asked often if they are.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, what other brassicas would you like to talk about? Do you know any other brassicas that kind of make you happy or disgusted or whatever?
Oh, let me dig deep into the world of brassicas and see if I can answer your
I
question.
can tell you about my husband, right? So
I'm picking he's a bit anti. There you go. Am I right?
Okay, well, it makes a good content if someone is against. So he doesn't like sweets, and he doesn't like turnip. So this is something that the brassica that doesn't really agree with him. I actually don't know why. Maybe it's a bad childhood memory or something like that. But it is those two considered a very classy, chefy vegetables, because to cook turnip really well, you really need to be skilled, because anyone can cook steak to a good condition because they're just following instructions. But turnip is so simple that to make it delicious, you probably need extra skills. Do you agree with this?
Yes. Also, sometimes some of those crops are considered to be stock feed. Sweet, turnip, parsnip maybe. Oh, not parsnip, but sweet, definitely sweet and turnip. And
do you hate parsnip?
I not actually really like parsnip. I do remember going to a farm and I think it was turnip, which is the round one. That's turnip, right?
Yeah.
With the purpley bit.
Swede.
Oh, swede. So the farmer had rows of swede, and he would just plough a row out and roll them over. Stock would eat it. Next day, another row, and he just peeled back this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't really want to.
That's the same thing with my granddad. He hated courgettes because he saw once when he was a child that courgettes were put in a big bin, and men in a big boots were crushing them and were giving it to the cattle, so he can't eat courgettes. And well, here it's considered really delicious thing.
Kohlrabi?
Kohlrabi. This is a German cabbage. It's called German cabbage. It's also could be sliced, could be marinated, could be steaked, could be cooked as a steak. Yeah, and it has like a mustardy, like a bit of a peppery taste. Yeah, it's very interesting, but a bit exotic for us because it's not a staple food. So have you ever tried kohlrabi, Nathan?
No, I don't even recognize the name.
So it looks like a turnip, but actually grows not under the grey and not under the earth. It grows on top, which is actually quite interesting.
Here's a comprehensive list of all the brassicas that I wasn't able to name.
Please don't read it.
I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to pick out the interesting ones. So Mallorca cabbage, I don't know what that is. Have you heard of that?
No, but the word cabbage suggests it's from the brassicas family.
Brassica balearica, that was. Abyssinian mustard, that's the biodiesel one. And so there's quite a few different mustards.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that biodiesel very often made of brassicas. It's simply because it's very easy to grow.
Yeah,
cheap, yes, and it doesn't need any pesticides or anything because it's mustardy, kind of a peppery taste is not liked by insects.
So the ones that we eat are all in one, I think it's species, which is the Brassica oleracea. That's kale, cabbage, collard. What's collard? Oh, that's
it's like a bok choy.
That's a Thai. I would call that. I would call that Chinese broccoli. I think they call it in the Asian supermarket. Then broccoli, collie, kai lan is similar to that. I think that's the Thai one from memory, isn't it?
And interestingly, the insects love those.
yeah. And then Brussels sprouts and kohlrabi are well the known ones.
So returning back to the topic, or shall we listen to the song, and then after the song we will return back to the topic, why some people hate brassicas?
So this is the tulip and or turnip song.
Tulip or turnip?
I'll take tulip.
I'm sure my husband will take tulip as well rather than turnip.
And loads sweet. Even the word Swede turns my stomach.
Well, it could be someone from Sweden, you know.
That's not food.
And why is that, Kieran?
When you were younger, you had to finish your meals before you get to the table. Well, I was at the table for a long time. Without food.
Yeah, it's an induced hatred.
Mashed potato or mashed sweet potato combo. Delicious.
I love it.
Delicious.
Never cooked it in New Zealand
You-
because
well with the
Kieran
gnocchi.
can't eat it.
Say again?
That would work well with a gnocchi.
Yes.
Oh yes, and
And,
actually filling with the
fillet
gnocchi with a bit of a feta
I-
cheese.
I ate the most delicious gnocchi last night
Oh, where was it?
with potato filled with ricotta cheese, it must have been.
Oh wow, where did you get it from? From
It's
your
available at Countdown, but it's brand new. I have never seen it before.
Mm.
I had actually asked for this product unknowing to myself in my mind when I went searching for it and didn't find it
Mm.
before it arrived.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome. So
So you don't like parsnip, Carrie?
I love parsnip.
Oh, you like parsnip?
Swede and
Swede and
sweet
turnip.
and turnip.
Yeah, I'm the same.
When I think of the word Swede, it just
Yeah.
turns my stomach.
Yeah. I didn't really know the difference.
There is no big difference. I think there is a sweet is there's a purple around, and turnip is yellowish, very very yellow.
And they both don't have much flavour, do they?
They have this buttery flavor, which is actually quite nice.
They do look quite
Oh
similar.
yeah, that's surprising.
Oh, parsnips. Love parsnips.
Yeah, parsnip's good.
So in this song, the girl asks the man whether she is for convenience or for love, whether she's turnip or a tulip,
Nice.
which is actually quite funny. Yeah. So am I kind of as like a staple food, or am I special? Everyone wants to be special thing. No one wants to be a turnip. She's modern, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just like to style her songs to this era of swing.
She's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Classic.
Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We are Lena Williams, Warwick Foy, and also we have two videographers today, Nathan Griffith and Ollie Foy. We are talking about brassicas today, and we just listened to the song called Tulip or Turnip. And Warwick can tell us a little bit about the singer. Her name is Sarah King, right?
Sure. She's relatively young. She is from the US, and according to her own website that I'm reading, she inhabits the dark side of Americana, creating gritty murder ballads and feminist anthems anchored by her atmospheric voice and rhythmic blues guitar.
The one that we heard wasn't very dark. It was quite lighthearted. It was asking a man whether she's a tulip or a turnip for him, whether she's a staple food or something really special and beautiful.
Mhm.
I believe that all of us ask this question sometimes. I don't know. And let's get back to our talks about brassicas. And I would like to discuss why some people like I am absolutely disgusted by even the thought of some brassicas. Like I hated cabbage when I was little. I learned how to eat it now without being kind of asked to leave the table. But it's still something that I wouldn't do it without kind of a special meditation before.
I think it all comes down to the cooking. So people have very bad memories of soggy, overcooked, destroyed Brussels sprouts, half cold, sitting on the side of their plate. When actually, if they're cooked really well, they're crisp and they're crisp, and you can put them with bacon and endless other things.
Or
Same-
deep fry.
deep fry. Same with cabbage, like boiled to death. on the side of the plate with a dirty old chop or something. It's kind of like not
Not to do with
Yeah.
brassicas. I agree with you. This is one of the reasons because people like psychologically have a rejection of it because they have bad memories. Recently, I had some of the deep fried cauliflower, and this was delicious. And I think it's almost like a nibble because you can take a little bit and don't really need fork and knife to eat it. But there are some other reasons that scientists think behind the hating of different brassicas. They said that there is a gene that plays a role in how bitter we perceive certain foods, such as broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables. Cauliflower, bok choy, Brussels sprouts are also on this list. The people with this variation of gene, which has a long scientific name with numbers and letters, taste these vegetables as bitter and horrible, whilst those with different variation in their gene don't. This is somewhat similar to what happened with coriander haters, because 13% of population, for 13% of population, coriander tastes soapy. A different genetic variation, it's also a row of letters and numbers, has been implicated in this case. So people who have this gene variation find coriander soapy or disgusting, and another gene makes you feeling that brassicas are actually very bitter. I don't know. Warwick absolutely loves it. I can tell you that it's nothing about taste. I love the taste of it. The reason why I hate it is different.
Which one do you hate? Sorry. Cabbage.
Yeah, I don't like cabbage, but I eat it from time to time.
So I feel even if they were bitter, it wouldn't be bad because we use bitter ingredients all the time in our cooking. It must be something deeper.
Another reason, good that you say that, some people find it, as Warwick said, they find it disgusting because they have bad memories. So it's kind of induced hatred from and bad experiences from bad cooks, I suppose. That's another thing. And also there is a reason that people have certain enzymes in their saliva. They say that it's sometimes a probable reason why people hate brassicas, because these enzymes make it unpalatable, might taste like a foul food or something like that. And they say this is something that is also genetical. This is kind of connected to science.
There's, aside from the Brussels sprout, the charming Brussels sprout, the most polarizing vegetable.
That's right.
The broad bean.
Okay, yes. I hate this as well.
I love them. But again, like you get your dad's ones that he grew and they got a bit long in the tooth and they're fat and tough and grey. They're not so nice, but if they're fresh and young, they're delicious.
I can eat them fresh, and I can eat brassicas fresh, but once it's cooked, it's kind of something is wrong. And another reason why some people say scientists don't support it, there is no research about it, that brassicas sometimes can cause bloating and flatulence.
That's a
Do you
shame.
agree with this?
I have heard that, I must admit.
So for some people, it's just basically a very small intolerance. And if you're intolerant to something, you try to avoid these fruits. But some people find the ways how to inject it into the diet, but sometimes covering it with chocolate. Let's listen to chocolate-covered Brussels sprouts.
That's weird.
Well, he suggested chocolate cover everything,
I
including
don't
cheese.
think that would help. Although what we do know from cooking is that every bitter has its sweet and every
true,
salty has
true.
its. So all the tastes actually have opposites. That as we create a dish, we can add more of its opposite to
Balance?
counteract and balance it. And a well-balanced dish tastes amazing. So
That's true.
Brussels sprouts would just need to be balanced out into something a little less bitter to make a really nice
sweetness
dish.
of butter can balance it really well.
Yeah. Oh, that's why it's such a great combination. It's so
Yeah.
popular pho with the Brussels
That's
sprouts.
right. I don't know, some people like it with egg, like quiches and things like that. So, interestingly, again, as I said, I like it very, very fresh, but once it's all cooked, it's just not working for me, strangely. It should be opposite. So you're going to talk about the beans?
Yeah, why not? Should
And then we
once
can finish.
Finish? Yeah, okay. Finish with cabbage head.
Whatever you want. It doesn't really matter for me.
Oh, let's finish with cauliflower by Jack Lizard.
What is your favorite brassicas, Nathan?
I like Brussels sprouts.
Brussels
Like
sprouts.
broccoli?
I love
Not as
broccoli.
much. Well,
Out of
yeah,
all the
I
brassicas,
do.
probably my
yeah, I
favorite.
do. And cauliflower too.
Yeah, but I
Love
like
cauli.
it fresh. I like it really fresh in a salad. It tastes really nice.
So also I saw the new products in Countdown. I've got the cauliflower fries and the
Oh.
broccoli fries, and then the broccoli popcorn and the cauliflower popcorn
Frozen
Yeah.
fry. Oh, awesome.
for people who like veggies.
Oh, we got to try that. Oven bake.
That's right. Yes.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for sharing this. Now we're going to look at it.
Wow, that's how important this one is.
Yes, so work actually wrote it. Welcome back to the studio of Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We are Alina Williams and Warwick Foy. We're local foodies and the Most FM broadcasters. We're talking about brassicas all 40 minutes today, and it was quite cool because there are a lot of things that we didn't know about it. Did you discover something new, Warwick?
Yeah, I learned heaps about them today. I've always just thought of broccoli and collie and cabbage, and there's so much more to the game. But going back to the second most, or perhaps equally placed, most polarizing vegetable, the broad bean, we did a bit of research about that. They're sometimes called fava beans, I think, in the US. They are apparently one of the oldest forms of agricultural produce, along with lentils, peas, and chickpeas, believed to have been eaten in the Eastern Mediterranean around 6,000 years before Christ, or even earlier.
Wow.
So that's bloody old.
Yeah.
And one interesting fact about broad bean is the English name for them. They are used for animal feed, though their stronger flavor is preferred in some human food recipes, such as falafel.
And also, some members of the bean family is used in Japanese cuisine as well. They either kind of steamed in a salty water, or sometimes the famous miso soup paste is made of the fermented beans as well. Well, they make a lot of things from fermented beans, not only this.
So one portion of broad beans provides 106% of your daily value of folate.
Oh, folate.
Very high in folate, high in iron, magnesium, phosphorus, manganese, B vitamins, moderate content. Some people are allergic to broad beans.
You're going to talk about toxicity of it?
It's the same. It's another one of those 50 letters in my name, chemicals that I won't pretend to know how to pronounce. But it is a lectin that occurs naturally in plants. Most of these are low toxin concentrations and can be destroyed by boiling.
Yes, but that's actually destroys the taste, I believe.
Agree.
Yeah.
So
So what do you usually cook with beans?
good question. We're growing some at the moment, so we will be answering that question. Actually, we use them a lot in salads. When they're juvenile, they're very soft and small, and they look great in a salad.
Do you grow any brassicas?
I have done over the years. I've grown a lot of broccoli in my time. I have attempted to grow Brussels sprouts, but it's not cold enough here. You need frost to set them. Some people have grown them. I've seen them in gardens around the region. What else? Cabbage is easy to grow. Bok choy is easy to grow.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe I should attempt it as well.
Yeah.
Something that I hate.
Yeah, broccoli is really interesting to see grow.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you have it in your garden, Nathan?
I had some last year, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Collie's hard to grow. Like I've seen people grow great collies. I have not been able to grow great collies. It must be something in the soil.
Actually, I will say I was growing a cauliflower, not a broccoli. So
Okay.
it turned out wonderful.
You got to fold the leaves over. So
You got to
doesn't
pick it at the
get-
right time
Yeah.
because there's a very fine line between it being ready and being overgrown.
Yeah, they shoot.
Probably about a
They
week.
bolt, don't they, really fast?
Yeah.
One of my favorite dishes in within the brassicas is actually from our sponsors, Area 41. They have a cauliflower risotto, and cauliflower is cooked several ways. So they have a deep fried cauliflower on top, and there's a induced, very creamy, specific rice that they use for risotto with some cauliflower in it. And it's not too mushy, you can still feel the grains. So a few words from our sponsor. Area 41 on Brougham Street, the perfect place to get away for coffee, meals, meetings, and events. Area 41 is an Italian restaurant, cafe, and bar with a passion for traditional Italian meals with a twist. They offer a variety of breakfasts, pizzas, pastas, risottos, Italian mains, and decadent desserts, as well as set menus and platters for any occasion. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. All their meals can be also ordered as a takeaway. Okay. Is there anything else we are going to listen? Or do you have anything to say, Warwick?
I'll just say farewell. Thank you to the listeners for listening to our show every Saturday at 4 p.m. Thanks to Area 41. And we'll wrap the show with a track called Cauliflower by Jack Lizard. And stick around for the next live hosted show at 5 p.m. with
Dylan Bynes.
Bynes.
Yes, Dylan Bynes. It's
Yes.
Exhuming Hour with Dylan Bynes, heavy metal rock.
Exhume. What is it?
Exhuming Hour.
Exhuming Hour, yeah.
The
So he,
Exhuming Hour.
if you didn't hear last week, Dylan debuted his show last week. It was really, I thought it was a great show. Great to have a young person here with a lot of knowledge and skill in music. So well done, and tune in, give a listen. And we'll see you next time on the most hardest time. Just